Okay, in this part, we're gonna modify our employee class program by adding the getters and setters methods, okay? So the getter and setter methods, these are gonna be assigned for each attribute or each variable that we have in our class. The attributes that we have over here, as you guys can see, we have 5 of them, so we're gonna have 5 different methods, 5 getters and 5 setters. This is very common style of class programming or object-oriented programming, and it's very handy to start to practice it over here, especially if you are continuing with Java or C++. All right, first we are gonna go ahead inside the class, and at the function where we start to declare the functions, we are gonna define 5 different methods that will be for getting the values, and the other one's gonna be for setting the values, okay? So let's start by the name, okay? So I'm gonna define a class. I'm gonna call it get underscore name. And this is gonna be from the object itself. So it's gonna have self only. So very simple, very basic. What are we gonna do in this class? I want to get the name. So this class is gonna return. What is gonna return? The name, okay? Or the variable attribute or the attribute name of the object that we have. So it has to say self dot name. And that's it. This is the method. And we can call it later on by saying the object name, which is imp1 dot get name, and it will give us the name that we have or the value of the attribute name. Similar to it, but slightly different for the setter or the set method for the name. So I'm going to define it over here. I'm going to say set underscore name and between parentheses self, but also I have to include another argument, which is going to be the new value of the name, where is it going to be assigned to the object. So I can name it whatever name I want to use over here. But to make it something meaningful, I'm going to say new underscore name. All right. So in this method, we have only one line. It's going to assign a new name, which is the new value, to the variable or to the attribute name that we have. So I'm going to say self dot name equal to the new name that we have or the user passed. So whatever value we have here is going to be assigned, it's going to be used here to assign it to the object that we have. And it's going to be stored in the variable or in the attribute name, okay? So we repeat these 2 methods 5 times for each attribute that we have, okay? So let me go ahead and basically I'm going to copy and paste them. But I'm going to change, instead of name, I'm going to say get employee ID, and here I'm going to say return employee ID. Let me make it over here underscore so it matches, okay? And the same thing, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say set employee ID. Okay, and here is going to be, I'm going to name it a new ID, and the variable or the attribute employee underscore ID is going to be equal to a new ID. Okay, so these are for only 2 attributes so far. So you continue with this, okay? So you repeat having all these attributes or all these attributes covered with setters and getters, okay? So I'm gonna do again for the other. So what do I have after that? I have the department. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say set department, and here, this is for the get, sorry. I'm gonna return that department, and here for the setter, I'm gonna set the variable or the attribute department to the new department. And again, whatever it goes between parentheses, whatever you want to have. Okay. And then I'm gonna repeat it 2 more times, one for the title and one for the salary. So what else do I have here? I have title. I'm gonna go here and say get title, return title, and set title, and here with the new title, and over here I'm gonna say self.title equal to new title that I have. And then I'm gonna also repeat that again over here, but this is gonna be for the last one I have, which is salary. And I'm gonna say get salary, and inside the get is gonna return the salary. And over here, I'm gonna say, okay, this is the salary, new salary. I'm gonna write or finish the set salary, and this is gonna modify the salary attributes and add to it the new salary that I get passed from the user. Okay, so now I finished with getters and setters, and this is very common practice when it comes to writing classes. Okay, for each attribute. Okay, you might not need it. You still can access to it in Python. It's a little bit different than other object-oriented programming, but it's very good to get used to this type of practice. Okay, now let me try to see how can I change that. Okay, well, this is my program that I finished from part 3. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say emp1 dot set, for example, name. Since it's a name, I want to set it, so I have to pass to it a new argument. So I'm gonna say change the name, which was in my previous example Zara. It's gonna be, let's say, Mark. Okay, and now let me say if I can print only the name of employee 1. So I'm gonna say print. I can go ahead and say emp1, for example, and get name. All right, and let's see what is going to be the result. I should create the user with Zara or the employee with Zara. Get all the name information, and then create the object, then display the information with the original name that user entered, and then I'm gonna change the value of the name, and I just want to double check if that name changed or not. Okay, let me go ahead and record and run this program. Okay, it's gonna ask me name, Zara, ID 111, enter department, sales, and title sales manager, and the salary is 65,000. And here you go. It printed all the information. This is from the display. And then I get to this line over here, and this line I changed the name of imp1 from Zara to Mark. And then over here I printed. What did I print? Whatever get name is gonna return. Get name is gonna return the name of the imp1. Okay, and this is the name of imp1. And this is how I declare and define the getters and setters.